Our next speaker is Professor Camire. So Professor Camire is a professor of food science and human nutrition at the University of Maine School of Food and Agriculture. Her research interests include factors influencing consumer acceptability of healthful foods, especially those from Maine, and the development of foods for older adults. She is a past president of the Honor Society Phi Tau Sigma, APCT International, now the Cereals and Grain Association, and the Institute of Food Technologists. She currently serves as the first female scientific editor for very impressive journal, Comprehensive Reviews in Food Science and Food Safety, and as a scientific editor for Journal of Food Science, and as an associate editor for Cereal Chemistry. And her presentation, the title is Potato, an Important Nutritional Source for Food Security in Changing Climates. So, Professor Marie-Ellen Camire.
Thank you for watching my presentation on the importance of potato for adequate nutrition and food security. The potato is an important part of my personal history because my ancestors fled the potato famine in Ireland in the 1800s and settled in the United States. First, I would like to summarize some of the literature that is critical of potatoes as a food source. Then I will address the recently verified benefits of potato consumption for different populations, and then offer some ideas about the potato's contribution to human nutrition in a changing climate. Fried potatoes are popular around the world. In nations with developed economies, consumption of fried potatoes is often associated with increased medical risks. Frying increases the lipid and energy content of potatoes, and food service products are often heavily salted. The larger starch granules in potato tubers are more easily digested than those found in grains, thus contributing to the higher glycemic index reported for potatoes and their products. The nutritional contributions of potassium, vitamin C, and many phytochemicals are often overlooked. In the 1990s, researchers at the Harvard School of Public Health began to focus on the risks of potato consumption based on their longitudinal research projects focused on male physicians and female nurses, who are not populations that are representative of the general U.S. residents. Among the concerns raised by the researchers were increased fat, sodium, and easily digested carbohydrate contributed by fried potatoes, that in turn raised risk for obesity, cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, and death. Other researchers have questioned the reported findings and have asked whether frying was a problem, not the potatoes themselves. The Harvard researchers counted that all potatoes displace other vegetables and whole grains in the diet that are more nutrient-dense than the tubers are. Subsequent research has yielded conflicting results. More intervention rather than observational studies are needed. An issue with epidemiological research is that specific foods may be singled out, but the context of the meals in which they are consumed may not be captured. For example, while some people may just consume fried potatoes as a meal, many others may eat them along with sugar-sweetened beverages and other highly processed foods. This conundrum is another reason why more nutrition intervention studies are needed. Over 40,000 adults were studied in the EPIC Spain cohort study, which found no association between the consumption of fried food, including potatoes, and the incidence of strokes. Spanish consumers tend to fry with heart-healthy olive and sunflower cooking oils, though. Although a medium-sized potato contains just 3 to 4 grams of protein, the protein has many essential amino acids. The relatively low cost of fresh potatoes, combined with their ability to make people feel full, make them ideal for people with limited funds and access to food. Potatoes can be stored without refrigeration for several months. Many heating techniques can be used to cook potatoes, and even a child can microwave cook a potato. The ability to propagate a new crop from parts of a tuber is an advantage for farmers and gardeners. Small children can be picky eaters, but potatoes are often well-liked. Potatoes with colored flesh can spark curiosity and hopefully lead to lifelong healthful choices. Agarwal and Fulgoni reported this year that data from the U.S. National Health and Examination Survey indicates that children between the ages of 9 and 18 who ate potatoes had higher intakes of many nutrients compared with those who do not consume potatoes. While eating more calories, carbohydrates, and sodium conflicts with the dietary guidelines for Americans, adolescents also get more micronutrients from potatoes. Potato consumption increases dietary fiber intake by at least 1 gram per day, which is significant considering the low fiber consumption in the United States. The contribution of vitamin C to the diet benefits many systems within the body. Serum ascorbic acid was positively associated with fat-free mass in Europeans aged 42 to 82 years old, suggesting that adequate consumption of vitamin C may prevent the age-related loss in muscle mass called sarcopenia. In a crossover trial, researchers fed purple-fleshed or white-fleshed potatoes to healthy adults for 2-week periods. The researchers observed significantly lower blood flow velocity after consumption of purple potatoes. This finding supports other studies that found no relationship between consumption of potatoes that were not fried with increased risk for high blood pressure, possibly due to the potassium content of the tubers. Different regions of the world are facing different challenges from climate change. There may be too much rain. In other parts of the world, there's too little rain. Many parts of the world are facing higher temperatures that in turn impact crop yields and quality. Ubi and co-workers studied the twin effects of elevated temperature and carbon dioxide concentration on potato metabolism and subsequent tuber composition. The cultivar Nu Daping was studied. The increased warmth in carbon dioxide created a situation like that of increased nitrogen fertilizer. Protein increased, while starch and vitamin C were lower than in the control. The content of reducing sugars, lipid, and dietary fiber were not affected. Biofortification through traditional breeding practices or through biotechnology can cause potatoes to produce more of specific nutrients. Among the nutrients targeted for biofortification is iron. Iron deficiency anemia is a global problem among women of childbearing age and children. Iron is especially important for brain and cognitive development. The natural vitamin C content enhances iron absorption in the gastrointestinal tract. However, Dr. Burgos' study in Peru found no difference in iron absorption between a yellow flesh cultivar and a biofortified purple flesh clone. Higher levels of polyphenols in the purple flesh potato interfered with iron absorption. Thus, highly pigmented varieties may not be suitable for iron fortification. Other nutrients that are important for children's development and can be increased in potato are zinc, beta-carotene, and other vitamin A precursors in protein. Potato consumption can provide key nutrients and reduce hunger. Consumers around the world need to learn the nutritional benefits of potatoes and how to prepare them without frying. Adding low-fat potato dishes to restaurant menus is needed. These jacketed baked potatoes can easily be produced in food service. As we will see in other presentations at this symposium, global breeding programs adapting to climate change must also consider how those changes will impact potato nutrient content. I would like to thank the symposium organizers for their kind invitation. My research on potato quality is supported by the Maine Agricultural and Forest Experiment Station and the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Thank you.
Thanks, Professor Camire, for providing insights into the nutritional quality of potatoes and highlighting the importance of potatoes in the diets, particularly for children and teens.